And yo, the Sports Bag Bros podcast is back at you for another beginning of the week of sports. Of course, the weekend left a lot of things to be desired because nothing really happened other than the NBA doing what it does. A bunch of upsets. Well, upset that the team that we thought was going to win didn't win. I think that's what it comes down to. Everything else kind of falls in line with what happens around this time of year when it comes to sports. But of course, we have a whole litany of things to talk about in addition to it is also fight week for those of you who did not know. Usyk, Fury getting together this Saturday in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia to get it down, deciding for the first time in about 25 years the undisputed heavyweight championship of the world. Let's see how that goes down. But anyway, let's start off with the NBA. A lot going on, continue to go on. The team I thought was probably, if you did live betting, the odds-on favorite to win the championship based on previous history, the Minnesota Timberwolves. I thought they were just going home with the broom. Shoot, they got the broom shoved somewhere else. They're going to have to do this in Denver. Now I don't think they can now.
So I recall saying I might be happy on Monday because the Nuggets might be eliminated. You know, I'm a Murray hater now because of his actions during the game, throwing shit on the court and then being a POS towards the media, not wanting to talk about it. But I also mentioned the Nuggets had to do something to change the tone of the series. And boy, oh boy, did they ever do it.
Bro, I mean, first of all, look at the first game. They won that one by 27 points, and that was just being nice. You know what I mean? They went in Minnesota after I was talking about how these young guys, they're so rambunctious, and the fans have been waiting for this all this time. This is time that they were going to show up. This would be the beginning of a possible sweep if they would have gotten just 2 games at home, which they probably need to do in order to get the sweep. And it was the complete opposite. The veterans, defending champs, showed up like defending champs. And the young Bucks kind of seemed like they wilted in front of their own home crowd under the bright lights.
Yeah, it sure seemed like they didn't show up with that killer attitude. Maybe winning so easily like they did in game 2 was the worst thing that could have happened to them. If they pulled it out in the last minute, they might have felt like, man, we got lucky to get this one. We got to take care of business at home. Whereas they won by 20-some in game 2, they came home. They were probably feeling themselves a little relaxed, and the Nuggets backs against the wall. They came out like champions, and the T-Wolves couldn't match that intensity. When they did, it was too late. You know, they were down 20-some, and it was ball game. But big credit to Anthony Edwards. He took the blame. You know, I've been saying when you got a guy coming for your throat, you got to get him off you. He wasn't going for their throat that game for whatever reason. You know, maybe human nature set in. We're up 2-0. We're at home. You know, we're going to handle business. He didn't have that killer attitude. He didn't come out there. But he had it yesterday, but he had no help.
That's what I was looking at.
I want to file a missing person report for Carl Anthony Towns.
For missing
Come
person
on, man.
report.
You got Ant going at him, dropping, what do you have, 43?
44.
And 44. And you come in with a sorry ass 13. What, he probably had more shots than points. He was terrible, man. He got to show up.
Yeah, and going back to that last game when they played, I mean, even the first game when they played, and you see how the defending champs, the veteran teams, you know, I always talk about, experience means something, but almost to a degree, because ultimately you got to start somewhere to get the experience. You know, teams that win for the first time, winning the championship for the first time, like Denver, well, they didn't have championship experience, and now they have championship experience. You got to start somewhere. That's why I was thinking it was the same thing with Minnesota, but with these young guys, it seemed like they were more expecting the crowd to help them win the game than just them going out, doing what they've been doing, let their talent kind of take care of business and do what they've kind of done, at least close. They didn't have to dominate. They just had to win. And they couldn't do it. They couldn't come close. And now it looks like the tables are turned, but the team that knows how to win with everything on the line is now looking like they're going back home to do exactly that. They may not get back to Minnesota.
Oh, no, they're coming back for
they're doing one game and then come another game? All right, I thought it was 2 other games. Yeah, okay. Either way, even if they go back to Minnesota, I mean, now Minnesota's going to really have it on them. If this was pressured to win with that third game at a home in front of the rambunctious crowd, with this kind of a team that looks like it's the team of the future, and they couldn't really pull it off then, and you had all these no-shows other than Ant. Now, I mean, what happens if they're down now with the game on the line at home? Do they still feel that pressure? And because of that pressure, is only Ant going to survive or do the thing that he needs to do to try to win the game, but will be overwhelmed by a team that's been there, done that, and defending champs?
So a couple of things. I've been saying it looks like the Nuggets have been sleepwalking. Those fuckers are awake now.
They woke up. Yeah.
They're wide awake. So that's one. And then two, I wish I had mentioned this on Thursday. I thought of it, but I just didn't get around to saying it. Sometimes going on the road is beneficial to teams because they don't have the distractions they have at home. So, they can kind of bond, they can focus better on the road. And it definitely looks like the Nuggets are focused. Like I said, they're wide awake. They're no longer sleepwalking. So I don't know if that's a product of being on the road, getting away from home and all those home distractions. But now maybe Minnesota gets that effect, getting away from home and being totally focused. All right, we just got to take care of business. You don't have people asking you for tickets, different things, family life or whatever. But the Nuggets, if you watched that game yesterday, you saw the T-Wolves try and chip away. Nuggets were not having it.
They weren't having
it. They got it down to 7. They had that terrible last 30 seconds of the half. They go into the half down 15. That had to be very demoralizing because they were down 15. They got it down to 7, and then they go to the half down 15. And then during the second half, they got it down to 9, back to 15. Got it down to 8, back to 15. They got it down, I think, to 6, but like 30 seconds left. The game was over. The Nuggets just would not fold. Wolves kept coming, or at least Ant kept coming.
Yeah, about to say they only had really one guy to worry about. Only one guy to worry about who was really trying to show up. He was doing it all by himself. No one else chipped in.
Rudy Gobert, Defensive Player of the Year. I didn't see him stop anyone from scoring. And on offense, he's a liability. I think they might have to bring him off the bench, or at least tell him don't try and score because he gets fouled and he misses the free throws.
Yeah.
Right? Tell him you're Dennis Rodman from now on. You're Dennis Rodman. Defense, rebound. Don't try and score. If you get a putback, great. But we're not passing you the ball. Don't post up. We're not passing you the ball. And then you can keep Cat off of Jokic because that could be part of it too. It might weigh mentally on Cat. Man, this dude's killing me. And then he's got to go down on the offensive end. Now he feels the pressure. Oh, I got to score. I got to get back. And maybe he's just not that kind of player. So keep Cat off of Jokic. If Jokic drops 35, 40 on Gobert, so be it. If Naz Reid comes in and he gets work, so be it. But keep Cat off of Jokic.
Yeah, because he's not getting the job done. And going back to where the pressure is now at 2-2, going out to Denver, you know what? I think there's something to be said. Yeah, the pressure is off because you're not at home with people bugging you. There's a distraction that come along with being home and going on the road. And to their advantage, they've already proven they could win 2 times in a row on the road in Denver. But now that you said also, Denver's now has awakened. So they're awakened. They now know what their problem is. We saw a little bit of that last year too.
And Murray was in his bag in the second quarter, man. Woo. I was like, this dude. But what I did like was Ant said, all right, this dude's killing us. I'm going to guard him. And he shut him down. But he couldn't do on the offensive end, what he needed to do if he was going to guard Murray the entire second half. And that's another thing. He played 45 minutes. He needs some help, man. Come on, Wolves.
Well,
help him out.
I guess that also happens with young teams because, he got 19 points. No one had over 19 points. No one had 20 points on the whole team. And I understand, going into this, we were talking about how Anthony Edwards was one of 6 players who got 44 points in 4 straight games, 44-plus points in 4 straight games in the playoffs. We've mentioned the 3 other players before him. But, man, these teammates that he has, they're capable of doing that, capable of contributing and helping this team get to that next level. But once again, it's still the defending champs, and they finally have decided that they wanted to play real big boy ball. And it's up to these young guys to try to figure this out and try to do it on the road again. I don't know. The momentum is obviously on Denver's side. The momentum was on Minnesota's side going into Minnesota. Going into this fifth game, I mean, what does Minnesota have to do? Well, a lot of what they did the first time around when everybody got involved, but they were still led by the alpha dog on the team, which is Anthony Edwards.
I think it starts with Cat. They got to get him going. Cat has to – he's got to make an impact. He's got to score at least 25. Because if they can't stop Murray, he's going to drop 20 to 25, maybe 30. Jokic, you expect 30 to 35, if not 40. And if you're not going to guard Aaron Gordon, come on.
Aaron Gordon did some things, yeah.
Yeah.
But that's like the guy you don't really expect all of those points or contributions to come from, and he's been giving it out.
But I'm saying you got to put your focus on somebody. If you're not stopping Murray and you're not stopping Gordon, you can't stop Jokic. Who are you stopping? You gotta pick one. Like, oh, we're not gonna let Murray go off. All right. So if you hold Murray to under 15, you got a shot. But if you let Murray go off, you can't let Gordon go off too.
That's exactly what happened.
A shot.
But well, here we are now, 2-2 going back to Denver. And I think these young guys are they starting to doubt themselves? Young players can doubt themselves, or they can think kind of like I'm thinking. We've done it before, and I think coach can tell them the same thing. You've done it before. Don't make it more complicated than it needs to be. You just need to get this rhythm going back to what it was when you did win those first two games on the road in front of that Denver crowd.
Well, you mentioned the coach. That's another thing. I think Malone is thoroughly out-coaching his counterpart, because I'm watching the game. I see KCP guarding Cat, and I'm like, go post up, Cat. Go post up. And they don't give it to him in the post. Come on, man. If you see that, call a timeout. When a 7-footer has a 6'4" guy on him, give him the damn ball.
Post him up and blast him.
Come on, it's not that hard. It shouldn't be that difficult to figure out. I don't know. I'm not gonna say he's a bad coach. I'm just saying he's thoroughly getting out coached.
Oh, he's getting out coached, but you can expect that now, and especially with the pieces that Denver does have, it helps making that coaching job a little bit easier, if not a lot easier. But now we're done with that game.
But
if, other games,
football, basketball, game of adjustments.
Yeah.
I see a guard guarding my center. Let's get him the ball. It shouldn't be that hard to figure out. I don't know.
Maybe these coaches try to outsmart themselves, man. I think I see a lot of that, coaches trying to outsmart themselves in so many different facets.
And that's
during the course of the
thing.
game, off-season getting players that they probably shouldn't get and thinking they're going to be the reason why that play is better than it was the last time the play played somewhere else.
But another thing is, why have Gobert set the screens up top? He's not a pick and pop guy. He's not a threat. They're not worried about him.
His offense is like, come on.
And Jokic is pretty much hanging out in the paint anyway. So it's not like he's got a lane to the basket. You got to put a threat out there. So if you're going to screen with a big man, screen with Cat. He's a great three-point shooter for a 7-footer.
Yeah, big
All
dude.
right, now you make Jokic, if he's guarding Cat or if it's Gordon, whoever, now you're bringing him out of the lane. They're going to respect his shooting ability. I don't know. Like I said, I don't think it's that difficult. I'm losing my mind watching games.
I'm wondering what these coaches really are thinking. If you're thinking like this and no one's going to come to you and go to choose you as an NBA coach, but you know the NBA well, and I think it goes for a lot of different sports with players or fans. They know the game because they either played, even if it's not pro basketball. Basketball is pretty much basketball. But if you have these world-class players at your disposal, you should be able to implement your plan and it should work out. But why are they not even thinking about what you're thinking right now? Because apparently they haven't done it. So they're not thinking that way right now.
I don't know. But also, even Anthony Edwards, it's like they almost can't stop themselves from having to get a ball screen. He had Christian Braun on him, and he called for a screen. You can't take Christian Braun to the hoop. You need a screen for Christian Braun? Come on, man. You're better than that, man. All he did was cause chaos at the top of the key. Here comes Rudy Gobert. Come on, man. You don't need a screen for Christian Braun, Reggie Jackson, dude. I mean, if you're that confident, you wave off the screen. I'm gonna take this guy. That's what he should be doing.
Well, I'm glad we were able to get this out of the way first because that's what I wanted to talk about in the beginning. Because I didn't want to talk about what happened in Indiana with the damn Knicks, bro. What the hell happened there?
Man, it's probably my fault.
Missed at all?
I'll take the blame. You can put the blame on me. You know, Friday night I texted you, man. These Pacers-Knicks games are intense.
Yeah, they are. Well,
they have been.
No, they are.
First three. And so yesterday morning, actually afternoon, I tweeted, man, I can't wait for this game 4, Pacers versus Knicks. They resumed their slugfest. So let's hope round 4 is as good as the first 3. Oh, man, my bad. I put the kibosh on it. My bad. I jinxed him.
Devin Haney and Garcia, man, start getting knocked the hell down and beating the hell up.
I went from hoping for a good round 4 to saying throw the damn towel.
Everybody was playing well, man. I'm like, what's? Hey, look, the Knicks. I think everything came to a head with the Knicks because every freaking body of consequence seemed to be injured, including Brunson, who's playing with injury, but he's showing heart. He's the only guy really doing what he's supposed to do. But even yesterday, because of the injuries, I believe he wasn't that effective. And I see these complaining ass Knicks fans complaining about he's the reason why we lost. He's the reason why we're even here to begin with. All these hurt players everywhere, guys missing freaking free throws, guys missing right there at the rim, including Brunson. But it was just a mess. And at a point where Indiana wasn't missing anything. They were shooting like crazy. I mean, they was like, 60% from the field, 48% from freaking 3. Bro, it was like, come on, they was hitting threes like they were freaking free throws. And the Knicks had no answers. Before you know it, they were down by 40.
There were a few plays in the first half where you could see it's not the Knicks' day. It just wasn't.
Oh, yeah.
You know, shots guys normally make. Brunson missed a little finger roll. It's just when that happens, it's just not your night. You know, DiVincenzo's been shooting the lights out. He's missing open. Yeah, he's missing open threes. Like some days, it's just not your day.
Yeah, but not to the tune of getting blown out like that and just doing a little bit of a comeback towards the end to make it look better, losing by 32 instead of 40. I mean, it could have been worse because, like they were saying during the broadcast, Indiana was just playing around in like the third quarter, man. Like, you know what? Try to play catch up if you can. They could have extended that lead. And look, I decided to have a little fun during the game, doing a little bit of live betting. So in the beginning, when the Knicks fell down by like 30, I was like, there's no way they're losing by 14. It was like 15 and a half line. I was like, man, this is lie. I got it right there. Bruh, come on. I thought 15 points, 15 and a half wouldn't be an issue. Man, they doubled that up and more. I was like, what the hell's going on, man? It was just bad for any Knicks fan. It was just terrible. I'm seeing all these guys complaining, and you ran out of complaints. What more can you say? You have all of these damn injuries, but this is the playoffs. No one cares about your injuries. Everyone has it. No one's 100% this time of the season. But the Knicks had no answers, including Brunson. But Brunson's injured. What more can you ask for from this guy? He's gotten you here. He's doing what he can. Hurt now. He's still hurting from the previous game. Still limping around.
Yeah, he's putting in a gutsy effort. Yesterday just wasn't their day.
Oh, hell no.
They're too far down for him to do his magic in the fourth quarter. But, you know, maybe that might be a good thing because if the game came down to the last couple minutes like the first 3 games did, and, you know, their starting 5 played extensive minutes going to game 5, they might be even more worn down. You know, so they took an ass whooping. They got some rest. Maybe they'll be better off for it in game 5.
They talked about that during the game. They was like, you know what, this thing is so far out of hand, it's going to come to a point where Tibbs is just going to rest the dudes and just kind of get by. And Indiana took their foot off the gas a bit. That's how it ended up being a 32-point loss instead of much worse, which it could have been. And by the way, I did salvage something by taking that 35 when it was there. So that 32 helped. It helped out. Come on, it really helped out, man. So, but, you know, and what was it? TJ McConnell became a star yesterday or something, man. This guy,
Well, he's been the best defender on Brunson,
as an
and
offensive guy, though, this guy was like they said,
oh
Hart, they
yeah,
said he's a pain in the ass. This guy is a pain in the ass. He's one of those players that you wish was on your team. You know he's not a star, but he's just a gnat. You just can't get rid of him, and then he can still bother you, and then score and make things uncomfortable for you. And that's what he was doing yesterday, scoring points when he doesn't normally score points. Defense, like you said, he plays defense, but he was doing everything yesterday, and then hitting his threes, and then the wide open threes they had. Man,
man, but talk about Nemhart's shot on Friday night. That was a bomb, and if that shot doesn't go, maybe the Knicks pull it out.
yeah, that's but
I mean,
I just think that
if the Pacers win that series, I think a lot of people are gonna look back to that shot and be like, "Yo, if that shot doesn't fall, the series maybe goes a different way."
But I'm also thinking that if they do win the series, it's going to almost exclusively come down to the injuries that keep piling up. I mean, I just think that it's just going to eventually give. Everyone's injured. You're innovative enough to do something, and Tibbs is doing well, trying to do well with what he has, and it's just not working out because guys, you just don't have your guys out there. Every time you think you got an upper hand, someone else is getting injured. You have Brunson, you're hoping he can hang in there, and you see the difference between when he's healthy and when he's not, like any other player, but even more so now because it's from the previous game, and he's just trying to suck it up. There's not going to be enough turnaround in this whole series or even after this series for those types of injuries to even heal.
That's true. For the Knicks, it would be best for them if they could have swept. Then they get a lot of rest.
Yeah,
but you know, people are saying that OG's injury came from playing too many minutes. That's quite possible. We'll never know for sure, but he had been playing a lot of minutes. And now you look at Josh Hart. I think he played. They said it was like 12 or 13 quarters in a row without resting. That's a
grind.
That's 3 games, if not more.
Yeah. And OG, by the way, he's looking for a contract extension at the end of the season. But I'm hearing some Knicks fans, which don't even matter, they're talking about how he's been injured so much throughout his entire career. And now we're seeing the injuries showing up when we need them best. You look at the old cliches, the best ability is availability. Those things, well, he's not available. They're saying things like that now. But it's just, well, look, if the Knicks lose, of course you're not going to be happy. At least I'm not as a Knicks fan. But to see where they've come from this quickly with the decimated team they've had, especially with Randall being out since February, I mean, you got to take what you can get. I don't think about moral victories, but shit, as a Knicks fan who hasn't seen anything since '73, and I was a year old when it happened, well, you take what you can get. And wait till you see what happens next season if they add players and this and that. But, yeah, we still have a series to play. It's very hard to understand or figure out or think the Knicks are going to do much different than they're doing right now. These injuries aren't getting any better. You're just going to have to play with fumes and injuries right now.
Well, I think the Knicks, if they do lose this series, they can rationalize. Well, we came into the playoffs without Randall.
Yep.
And we were doing well. And then we lost OG.
Mitchell been a pain in the butt, missing all the time.
They were 2-0 with him against the Pacers. And now they're 0-2 without him. I don't know what his prognosis is for Game 5, but if they lose this series where OG doesn't come back, where they can say, well, we would have won if we had OG. Let's just work hard in the summer, add a piece here, add a piece there, and we're ready to roll next year.
Yep. So yeah, those are the Knicks right now. Coming off of that big blowout, going back to the Garden to see if they can change things up. I don't know, man. There've been games in which they've lost at the Garden. Come on, no one's undefeated at their home. But the Knicks, for some reason, man, when they're not necessarily expected to lose at the Garden in particular, that's when they do their biggest loss. That's why I took the first game, and I was like, damn, this is the kind of game the Knicks lose. But they ended up winning that game, winning the first 2 games, and now we see how things are turning out now. So, yeah, let's see what magic the Knicks have the next time they meet up in Madison Square Garden to see if these guys can show some of that heart in front of the home crowd. But what about these Celtics? What about Cleveland? Freaking Donovan Mitchell, bro. That dude was like, come on. I knew he was good, but when you get a chance to see a guy like that in the playoffs where you are a kingmaker, the playoffs makes you a kingmaker. And this guy is showing up big time. He's on that superstar level, not just a star anymore.
Right. It seems the Celtics are prone for a bad loss every now and then for
Yep.
some reason. Um, I don't know. I didn't watch game three. I know they bounced back, but Mitchell gave them that work in game two. And if the Celtics have mental lapses, whatever you want to call it, they better be careful because Mitchell can give you that work.
See, unfortunately for him, though, he's questionable now with a calf injury that he had gotten
Is
in
he?
that same game.
Oh man.
Yeah, I'm like, God, man, that's the only hope they have. Period. There's nothing
Yeah.
else. Yeah, because he's come on, he's their dog, man. And I'm like, God, when I saw that injury report, it's not even my team. He's a New York dude, but he's not even my team. But you like to see a talent like that, especially in the playoffs, where these are the guys at this age. He's 27 years old, this good, doing what he's doing against a team that's supposed to be a juggernaut, which are the Celtics. Even though they're playing without Porzingis, they're still getting hellified results without him. Even though they're due for their miserable game every series, even without Porzingis, they're just making it look easy.
Yeah, but let's talk about Tatum for a minute. Why is he whining, talking about, oh, they call us a super team? And nobody called the Celtics a super
Come
team.
on, man. A super team, how?
I don't know.
You
I
trade for
don't know.
Porzingis, not your super team? Drew
It was a
Holiday?
bad look. He was saying everybody expects us to win by 25. And no, we just don't expect you to lose by 25. We don't
That part,
expect
yeah.
you to win every
In
game.
Cleveland.
Yeah, show some heart at the crib. Losing game two by 25 at home. But they bounce back. Like I said, for some reason they have a propensity to not show up from time to time. But I think the Celtics should be all right. I just didn't like Tatum up there whining to the media.
Yeah. I mean, I don't see the reason why. Who are the super teams now in the NBA? I don't think there are any super teams because I would define a super team as one of those teams that went out and got these free agents to
I
kind of
think
get a big two or three.
The Suns tried to be a super team.
And we see what that
It
got
didn't
them.
work out.
That's what you got old players on the team, got rid of an old player, let him go to Golden State. That's Chris
Like
Paul. And you see what that got them too.
I wouldn't even consider the Clippers a super team. Most of their guys are older.
And I don't think
They just got names.
these are old, exactly, named players that used to be great or even very good, and they just happen to still be playing right now. Definitely not the same player. I think Kevin Durant kind of almost falls in that category, but he's still damn good. I don't know about great anymore, only because of the age factor and probably getting injured. But outside of that, though, he can go to the right team, and because I don't think, like we were talking about last week, if he ends up going to Golden State, I don't think it gives Golden State a better chance of winning a championship. It gives them a better chance of only advancing into the playoffs a little further. I don't think it gives them that championship element. I think Denver still locked and loaded as they are would still be the odds-on favorite. And with another year, Minnesota may even overtake Denver by that time. It looks like they tried to do it this year. But I don't see any. A super team would be a team that you just like the LeBron teams and the Doc Rivers Celtics teams. The teams that were able to pick these players and put them together and try to dominate the NBA. These organically good teams that either drafted well and just free agents came along. Those are the teams we have now. Porzingis doesn't make you a super team; it just makes you a damn good team.
Yeah, that's true.
And so, yeah.
I'm
And
trying to
why?
think. I don't think there are no super teams
No, there
right now.
aren't. Exactly. I think
I
this.
mean, if Aaron Gordon's going to drop 25 to 30 every game, then they become a super team. But I don't see that happening.
Exactly. I mean, I'll see. Besides that, the NBA from top to bottom has more talent in it now than I think it's ever had. It's just that these soft rules allow that talent to flourish a lot more than it would have flourished probably back in the 90s when defense was more of a premium and guys were, it was a lot rougher game back then than it is right now. But out of all these games being played, man, I don't see too much love going to the OKC Dallas series. It's like it just happens to be on. I don't know if it's because OKC is in freaking Oklahoma or what. I mean, it deserves some love. You got a bunch of young talent there, at least on the OKC side. And then you get a chance to see Luka, of course. Come on, and Kyrie.
Yeah, so I talked about Luka being somewhat hobbled, but that was no excuse, and he has to play better. And he played better.
Yeah.
He came out, had a monster game. Mavericks are up 2-1 now. We'll see if the OKC can respond.
Well, you know what? Going into this game in Dallas, they're a point and a half favorite. That's it. Dallas is a point and a half favorite against OKC. So, I mean, there must be something going on, at least Vegas. I know they're not just doing it to make you bet, but there's obviously something more to it than just the number itself. But I can see OKC winning this as well because they've won these kinds of games in the regular season and they also score. And I don't think this is the same Dallas team we were talking about going into the playoffs because they were so hot in the beginning. I think they just got too hot too damn soon. Now in the playoffs, they're still good, but not hot.
Well, the competition gets stiffer the further you go along.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
I mean, OKC could have something to do with that, but they are up 2-1. So, I don't think anyone expected them to be up 3-0. So, I think the Mavericks are doing fine.
Oh yeah, the Mavericks are doing fine, and right now, I mean, I'm just looking from the perspective, at least right now, a point and a half favorite against a team that they probably you would think being at home there would be more, But I think Oklahoma City played so well this year, and they're offensive. They're up there, not completely up there, but like Indiana is the leading scorer in all the NBA, and we see it. And when they have that opportunity, they take advantage of it. But I think OKC is another team that does score well too, and they have the young players again. But after seeing what Minnesota has done, I'm not going to always root for the young players. You just hope they grow into the moment and create their own stardom from there. But Dallas, I think was hot before the playoffs, not as hot now. And I think it kind of, I don't know, because even before that hot streak, they were kind of hit and miss. And I think now in the playoffs, I think a little bit more hit and miss again. And we'll just see. They 2-1 right now. But if Oklahoma City, gets them tonight, is 2-2. I think, is it back to Dallas being hit and miss or what?
Well, they would be going back to OKC for Game 5. I don't know. We got to see what happens tonight. I don't know the status of Luka's leg, his knee injury, whatever it was. Was he feeling better on Saturday? Or whatever day they played. I can't remember. I had a long weekend. But it was Saturday, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, only one day to rest. So maybe he comes back, his knees may be sore. Who knows? And maybe he can't put forth the same effort he did on Saturday night. But I think OKC, they really have to come out with a lot of intensity and, try and even the series. You don't want to go back home down 3-1.
Nah, hell no. I mean, no one wants to. It gets much more difficult. That goes without saying. But yeah, man, we'll just have to wait and see, as you say, and see how that goes down. But sticking in the NBA, news still going on in the NBA. The Hawks get the first pick overall, winning the lottery. This draft coming up, I can't even tell you I know a whole lot of players in this draft. There isn't much buzz. There is no Wemby. There is no huge name. I guess everybody's waiting for Cooper Flag next year, 2025 draft, depending on what he does at Duke, which I'm expecting huge things. But this draft here, whew, bro, I mean, the number one guy, who's the number one guy?
That's true. I watched the lottery yesterday, and I was like, who's the number one prospect? Who's the number two prospect? And then they showed somebody's mock draft of the top 4, and I was like, who?
Who? Exactly, bro. God, man.
I mean, that's no disrespect to the prospects. I'm just saying I don't know much about these guys.
Nah, and you know what? They're going overseas and getting players. I think there's another Frenchie they're trying to bring over here to play. I mean, he's not getting the hype like Wemby because he's damn sure isn't like Wemby. I don't think anyone is. But this French guy they mentioned, probably in the draft, probably number one pick overall. But you know what? This is how bad the draft is, or at least the way it looks right now. We're talking more about LeBron's son, Bronny James, coming to the draft and refusing to go back to school now because he feels that he's heard enough information to where he needs to stay in the draft. Where the hell did that come from? Some mock drafts have him going in the first round.
Who's he talking?
These guys just trying to be, I don't know what they're trying to do. I don't know what they're trying to do. He's not even a second rounder. When's the last time anyone, man?
Who's he been talking to? I mean, it could be. It could be.
Come on,
his freshman season was tarnished because of his health issue, and maybe he's getting stronger. Maybe he looks better. Maybe he's getting back to 100%. So maybe people are just disregarding his 4-point average.
But you know what? If you followed him in high school or you saw the things he's done while a high school player, he was good. Nothing special, bro. To get to the NBA, you have to be special, special. Even Mikey Williams, who was that over Bronny, and he now down in Central Florida after leaving Penny Hardaway, getting his own trouble out there. Anyway, he was looked at as one of the top players. He kind of fell down the list, but he's still looked at as a possible NBA prospect, and you can believe it because we've seen him play in high school. We've seen enough of him. Bronny, not so much. We've seen him play. We're saying, damn, that's a good player. When a player is an NBA prospect, you're not playing high school ball and people are just saying you're good. They're like, yo, bro, that dude's either generational or that dude's ridiculous. Nothing like that coming from Bronny. Maybe Bryce, but not from Bronny. And as far as how much better did he get, I really don't know. I mean, you're averaging less than 5 points a game. You had 19 minutes a game. And we're talking about, it should be, if it was just any other Joe Schmo, we're talking about your issues of getting drafted, especially in the first round, let alone the lottery, because he's not going to go in the lottery, was a heart issue, man. You had cardiac arrest. This is like possibly drafting Hank Gathers, man. I mean, seriously, if he would have survived, would he have still gone number 1 overall like they thought he would have gone, Hank Gathers? I don't think so once they saw that type of thing happen.
I don't think Hank was going to go number 1. I don't want to speak ill of him, but I don't believe he had range on his jumper. He scored so much because they had like 130 possessions a game.
Outrageous.
Yeah, they were trying to shoot every 9 seconds.
But he also led rebounds too.
But there's more shots being taken.
But he was a hell of a.
I'm not saying he was a bad player. I just don't believe he's going to be number 1.
Well, I thought there was a possibility. I got to go back.
I don't know
that year.
What was he? Like?
Larry Johnson.
What was he like? Was he like 6'7"?
6'7", 6. I think it was 6'8", somewhere around
there. For the way he tried for his game, he wasn't gonna be that successful in the NBA at 6'8". You could be successful in college at 6'8".
At Loyola Marymount at that, because remember he and both came from St. Joe's over there.
Right, but back then when you still had the Mutombos, the Mornings, and Ewings and the Olajuwons in the later stages, and he wasn't going to dominate.
And that was 91, because 92 and UNLV didn't win. So 1990 is when they won.
Was it that early? Oh, so yeah, that was before Morning. Yeah, so Hakeem was still in his prime. That was before his championships. Ewing was in his prime. David Robinson. I mean, he had some solid big men. He wasn't going to dominate.
More than solid, those were serious big men. That's when the game was run by big men. And then Mike.
That's what I'm saying. Even at power forward, Barkley and Malone and those guys.
But going back to the issue at hand, Bronny James, man, I almost feel bad for him because the ridicule's coming one way or the other. Cameras are going to be all in his face if he doesn't get drafted, but I don't think that an NBA team is going to let LeBron down. I mean, even if it's the freaking Lakers doing it, and if they took him in the first round, man, you know how that has to be for someone else who's out there who's legitimately a better player and probably should have been used at that same pick. That'll be, man, I wouldn't know what to say, but it's all on LeBron James' son, little Bronny. To I don't know, the cameras are going to be in his face. Everybody's going to be
about the combine. It's all about the combine and stuff too. We don't know what he's showing.
That's true.
I find it very difficult to believe that the Lakers would draft him not believing that he's worth a first round pick. Like, it's not like LeBron's 25. LeBron's on the way out.
Yeah, exactly. So they owe nothing to him, really.
Right. So, and then you're killing your future.
But man, I mean,
here's another thing about the Lakers. Lakers say their number 17 pick is available. For who? What are you going to get for the 17th pick? Come on, man.
Bro.
You got to package it with Cam Reddish and
Cam Reddish. For? Oh, this guy bounced around the NBA. Cam Reddish. This guy's been everywhere already. But man.
But did you watch the T-Wolves game last night?
Let me see. A little bit.
Okay, so Reggie Miller made a comment. He was giving props to Anthony Edwards for taking responsibility, and he was like, He took accountability for the loss. He said you can put it on him. He said, not a direct quote, he said, unlike some people's Mount Rushmore who always deflect and point the finger. I knew
Like, who was he talking about? Come
I
on, we
knew
already
who he was
know.
talking about. I know who you think he's talking about. But watching a clip of Undisputed, Paul Pierce's dumbass like, well, I don't know who he was talking about. You say he's talking about this guy, but what about KD? What about Giannis? What
You
about?
already
I'm
know.
like, are any of those guys on the Mount Rushmore? You fucking
He
idiot!
knows what's up, man.
Come
Paul
on, man.
Pierce has been just saying
So
things over the past couple of years, man.
by the time Keyshawn was done, Paul Pierce was like, okay, yeah, I guess, yeah, he's talking about LeBron. Come on, man. You had to be convinced.
You know, I don't even know what his angle is with LeBron. Is he a LeBron liker or is he a LeBron hater? Or is he neutral? I don't even know how he is right now. I know there's some new guys that talk about how LeBron, like I think Agent Zero Rings, I think he has LeBron ahead of MJ, doesn't he?
I don't know. I've been seeing different clips. I think it just depends on what day it is for
Or who he's
Agent
pissed
Zero
off at.
Rings. Yeah, I've
Yeah.
seen different clips. I've seen him praise Caitlin Clark. I've seen him hate on Caitlin Clark. I've seen him allow hate on Caitlin Clark on this podcast. But I don't know. He might be bipolar.
Probably, you know what? Hey, you know what? 1 minute he's bringing guns to the locker room, next minute he's not. He might be bipolar. Shoot, we don't know. Crazy.
Hey, but look, just because I mentioned what Reggie said on the show on the broadcast last night, that doesn't mean I'm hating on LeBron. I'm just repeating what Reggie said, and it's not like LeBron doesn't deflect and point the finger at other people. That's just what he does. That's his history.
They're just happy as hell to
that's why he's gotten so many coaches fired. If you don't like it, don't hate on me for saying it.
Well, that's going to always be an argument. Anytime you have a polarizing player like LeBron, you're going to have that. Was MJ polarizing? Would you look back at it and see if he was polarizing? I don't remember him being polarizing because he didn't say much of anything to get people completely upset. You heard the stories that leaked out of practices of him hitting players, saying things in the huddles and that kind of thing. Also, there wasn't social media around everywhere to where people could hear him say what he said. It probably would have been a different MJ, or the perception of him off the basketball court might have been a different perception if there was social media. Because LeBron 24/7.
Because there'd be pictures of him at the poker table at 3 a.m. on game day.
They'd be everywhere.
Or at the golf course at 4 o'clock when there's a 7 o'clock tip off. I mean,
try to get the edge off. Come on.
But that's what Michael needed. Other players, they try to do it, they probably fail miserably. But Michael, he's got a legendary competitiveness about him, and idle time, he probably couldn't deal well with it, so he had to do something.
Well, I guess when you're a great player, regardless of what sport, you need to, you kind of need some special privileges because coach probably knows that kind of gets you to relax and you probably play even better. Because I know when Peyton Manning used to come to Jacksonville, most players used to go to the Marriott. I don't know if they're still doing it now. Most teams go to the Marriott here in Jacksonville. Well, they used to go to St. Augustine because when the Colts came, because Peyton Manning played golf in St. Augustine. That's it. And even when they, he just loved playing golf, so they let him play down there. So whenever they came, he'd go to the golf course. And that was the only reason why the entire team went there, so he could play golf. Craziness, but that's your star player. He guided your franchise, made your money, all the money, and got them the championship. So give him what he wants. And no one ever made an issue out of it. But anyways, man, we can at least put basketball down for a while because this is, as we talked about a little earlier, this is fight week. Alexander Usyk is taking on Tyson Fury finally. I think they were supposed to have fought in January or February. Then there was an injury with Tyson Fury in the eye cut or whatever hell happened to him. And now they're going to fight May 20th, Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, as the Saudis are putting up some of the best fights we could possibly see because they wanted to throw the money out there. And the shenanigans have started, at least for fight week. Tyson Fury's father headbutting an Usyk supporter and bleeding from the forehead like the WWF. What's going on?
Yeah, he got the worst of it. I don't understand he headbutted him and he got cut. Another
The other dude just
dude,
tried to get at him. I just saw him holding
I
him.
want
That
to
was
say
it.
kid. He looked like he was maybe 20 years old.
A young dude, yeah.
Yeah, very young guy. I'm just curious what was said to get him to lose his cool like that. He's not even fighting.
Well,
And
I
it
saw the
wasn't
video.
really, huh?
No, I saw the video. He was arguing with somebody completely different. He was head to head with another dude. And as he's walking away, I guess the young guy said something. He came after him and gave him the headbutt. And the young dude tried to get at him and they held him. So the guy, this wasn't even the guy he was arguing with. The guy he was arguing with and going head to head with in the beginning, when they talked about he headbutted him and I saw the blood, I thought this is how it happened with this guy. Once he's done with this guy, he's moving away. He's still running his mouth. And I guess someone just said something. And that's when he came after that guy, just headbutted him. And the dude didn't get buzzed or anything. Tyson's father just started bleeding. Like,
he was just looking like, what the heck just happened?
Yeah.
It could be they're trying to generate hype for this fight because I'm not seeing a lot of talk about it. I don't see that there's a lot of hype on this one.
No, I haven't
and as you mentioned, it's for the undisputed heavyweight title.
For the first time in 25 years, we'll have an undisputed heavyweight champ. But this is a fight I wasn't necessarily looking forward to. I like it because it is the heavyweight championship of the world for what it's worth these days. And it does deserve some type of respect because of it. But, man, when it was happening the first time, I was looking forward to a little bit more then than I am now. Now that it's been rescheduled and we're seeing what's going on and they showed pictures of Tyson Fury's body, how much smaller he looks now than he looked before. I mean, that has nothing to do with anything. I just think, you ultimately still have to fight one another. And even the day of the fight, I'm not if I missed it, bro, I don't even think I would say, damn, I'll still catch it on a highlight. But this isn't a must-see event for me for some reason.
Right.
It has nothing to do with neither guy being American.
And Fury's at the age now, 35, where, you mentioned his body. He looks slimmer than he's looked in a long, long time. It's possible he overtrained.
Or it's possible he's with Ryan Garcia. He's with Canelo. He's back in the game again with the juice.
But Garcia's B sample came back negative.
Garcia off the list. But the rest of the juices, well, Canelo, he's with them. He could. He's been popped before. So it wouldn't be a surprise if something like that came up. But I don't want to tarnish it before it even starts. But
well, he tarnished it himself with that trash performance against Ngannou.
And exactly. That
right now, I don't know which Fury is showing up. Is he old? Is he fading? Is he washed?
We're going to find out.
Right, we're going to find out.
Usyk is going to be consistent. He's going to come. He's going to be fearless. He's going to be probably the smartest fighter Tyson Fury's fought up to this point. He is. I mean, he's still so technically smart from being a cruiserweight. They have more skill down there because that's what they need. But Tyson, I
can't make a pick on this one because I don't know what Fury's going to look like. If he looks like he did against Ngannou, then Usyk's definitely the favorite.
And that's why.
But if he was sandbagging and Fury still has a little bit left, then I got Fury. But I can't call it right. I can't.
You know what? And I want Usyk to win, but I think Fury's going to win. You know what I mean? The reason why I think he's going to win is because of that Ngannou fight. He was embarrassed. He can say what he wants about, no big deal and how, it wasn't a real fight and all that other nonsense he's been trying to say in between time. No, that's on his mind. And he's trying to right that wrong. Kind of almost like in a roundabout way where AJ kind of righted the wrong of boxing going against a guy in MMA who's never fought before. He kind of righted the ship, put things back in perspective. I think Tyson Fury, especially after what AJ did, he's taking this seriously because if he wins this fight, there's that AJ fight out there. And that's going to be huge, especially for the UK, but huge for boxing.
Yeah, maybe. But I could see Fury retiring too. I mean,
without having that AJ fight? His own country wants him to have that fight. That's their fight.
Yeah, but he wanted to fight AJ 5 years ago. AJ didn't want to get
that's true.
So why give AJ a shot now? I mean,
because everybody seems tainted.
AJ's not the same AJ. People want to say AJ's back.
I think he's actually
not
better.
An MMA guy, please.
I think he's more. I've always thought he was disciplined. I just thought he wasn't trained
that good. He got knocked out by a midget. He got knocked out by a midget. And then he fought like a sissy in the rematch because he was scared to get chin chopped.
I'm not even going to act like I thought that Andy Ruiz was going to knock him out, but I did say before that fight, Andy Ruiz is going to be a big problem for him. I expect him to knock him out because people just slept on Andy Ruiz, especially people who don't know who he is or hasn't seen him fight. You saw this fat dude and just thought, oh, man, just another bum. Nah, he's always been good. He has those fast hands. He's skilled, had over 100 fights as an amateur, one of the few heavyweights who's done that. And he showed up and got the knockout anyway. But I think right now we have a different AJ than we had back then. Derek James as his trainer. Before that, Roberto Garcia, Garcia was his trainer. And he's broken away from what he had done in the UK, and he's actually trying to learn. You can see him trying to apply new things in the ring from the last 2 times we've seen him, trying to apply those new things he's learned. Even if he did fire Garcia, he got with Derek James, but he's still trying to apply the things he's learned. A lot of fighters don't do that, and he's disciplined enough to stick with it. He's a different fighter, in my opinion. The chin can't change. And if Tyson Fury,
I'm just saying, beating an MMA guy don't get you a shot at the
no, it doesn't. It doesn't. But that MMA guy got a lot more props because he did what he had done against Fury, who's supposed to have been a better boxer than AJ. So, I mean, for what it's worth, I'm thinking that AJ
zero is worth zero.
It's worth zero now. But I think that between them, those two, even though they should have fought 5 years ago, maybe even more than that, fighting right now is still the biggest.
So let's say Usyk wins. Does he get another shot at Usyk after he lost twice already?
You know what? That's a sticking point right there. Who
so why does he get a shot? So why does he get a shot against Fury, who beat the guy who beat him twice?
Because he had to fought Fury. It's the unknown. That's it. You know, the triangle method. The man who beat the man. Well, we can talk about
Fury
that.
hasn't fought John Jones neither. Should he fight him next?
Bro, I'm just thinking that that's just a huge fight for them. I think they have their own pressure in their country to fight one another before one retires, and it's going to be likely Fury who's retiring first. I still think AJ has a few more years left in boxing. He's actually gotten better, and I like to believe he's gotten better. Now look, he beat the Nordic Warrior. The Nordic Warrior, what was his name? Man, it's killing me because I freaking met him out there in Finland when we was out in Finland. But anyways, he Robert Helenius, he beats him. And then he beat him brutally. Then he beats Ngannou when everyone thought Ngannou was on, just not unbeatable, but thought he was something special. Got rid of him like an amateur, like he should have, the way Fury shouldn't got rid of him. I think there's enough buzz to where the rest of the boxing world wants to see these two outside of the UK. 90,000 people showed up at Wembley to watch that fight.
I'm just saying, Fury's 35 now. Maybe he calls it quits.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he did.
Really. Because if you look at it, it's a lose-lose situation. If he beats him, they're like, well, he's been beaten a bunch of times before. What does he get out of beating Fury? I mean, out of beating Joshua, other than the paycheck?
Well, for him making a little last pinching draw, yeah, that paycheck does matter. That retirement fund, it may just matter. But I think it could be a good fight between those two. I think it could be a very good fight. Once those countrymen get in the ring, it's a little different. If you see that little round robin they had in UK years ago, when you had Michael Watson and what was it, Collins, and you had Ben and you had Nigel Ben, and you had Eubank. So you had all those guys fighting one another. I mean, it really brought out the crowds, and a lot more zest was in those fights than when they fight other guys. So I think that you might have the same thing when it comes down to two Brits getting together inside that ring. It'll be. I mean, I look forward to that more than I'm looking forward to this. What's going on Saturday?
So you'd rather see Joshua and Fury than Usyk and Fury?
Oh no! Based on what happens in this fight, how Fury looks in this fight.
Oh, okay. I was like, wait a second.
Usyk
beat Joshua twice.
It's how he looks in this fight. If he looks really good in this fight, man, and just dominates Usyk, I'm not expecting Usyk to get dominated, but you already say he's been knocked out. You know what I'm saying? That
was a clean body shot.
Clean body shot. He got away with one.
He got knocked out.
You know what I mean? So I just want to, if he beats Usyk, which is likely, I would just like to see him fight this new and improved AJ. So, and by the way, before we leave, did you see the Kambosos and Loma fight? Even highlights.
Does not deserve another big fight.
Exactly.
Does not
this guy packs the house when he knows he's going to freaking lose, says all the stuff there in the pre-fight. And the first time he did it against Haiti, tried to keep it down a little bit. And the second got beat even worse. This time, The stare down lasting 3 minutes. And
unless he fights Raleigh, then it's like one of those losers leave town matches.
loses lead town, and they'll end up getting one of those Rocky both get double knockdown. But Loma, man, Loma's legit, and I hate that he's this old now with all this wear and tear on him because the amateur career gave you wear and tear. 396.
Yeah, because look who they're looking at for him next, Tank or Shakur.
Tank wants him. All of a sudden, what's going on here?
I don't know.
Tank's calling him out. Let me take care. Man, you better take care of your boy over there first, Frank. For real, take care of Martin. Take care of Martin. And then you claim you want him, but then he deletes the tweet as if no one saw it. And that's all people are talking about now. Yeah, in boxing, that means
maybe Haney will give him a rematch now.
Man,
maybe not.
No. You know what? Haney's proven that he doesn't duck fighters, man.
Yeah, but based off that fight, Loma deserved a rematch.
Loma deserved a rematch, no question.
That's what I'm saying. So.
Oh, yeah, he deserved a rematch. But I can also see how he can move on to the next guy, take care of that business. And if Loma wants some more, well, he'll ask Loma to come up to 140 now to do it. He's not going to go back down to 135. And Loma at 140, he's not going to be the same. He's hardly the same as an older fighter now at 135. I mean, at this age, he's still that good. He can still beat some top fighters right now. He's just not the Loma in the Matrix that we got to know all these years. The guy who made guys quit like the Axeman and Rigondeaux, just making these guys quit from frustration and beating down.
I have to mention the Axeman fight, man.
I was so shocked
that one hurt me. That one hurt
for real, man.
I was expecting a barn burner. It was a one-way.
Ball got burnt. He got locked in.
Beat down, clinic, whatever you want to call it.
But that's exactly what happened, though, man. But
he got his axe taken away.
Got his axe kicked. got down. But anyway, yeah, but Loma, man, I hate that he's not going to get all the credit he deserved because I still go to these comments and I still hear people saying nonsense about him as he wasn't all that good after all. He wasn't all that good ever. Are you freaking serious, man? Just call it what it is. You're not talking about boxing when you're disrespecting him the way you are. You're just looking at something completely different and it's not boxing. That's all I can say about that because he was that good. And even if it was for that small period of time because of his long amateur career, he still was that good. And he was fighting everybody. It was people who didn't want to fight him. And now everybody trying to pick on the old man, getting a butt kick. Kambosos, he should be out of it. No one else should give him a shot. His home people shouldn't show up anymore because that's the reason why he's showing up and getting paid. Let Tim Zhu take Australia to the new levels, new heights now. Let him take over. Anyway, so that's it for now.
Kambosos didn't really give up much of resistance.
He tried. He just fell out of his game plan because Loma made him fall out of his game plan.
Yeah, you could tell he was outclassed.
Yeah,
so that's why I say Haney outclassed him. Lomachenko outclassed him. Supposedly Teofimo was near death when he fought him, and if that's his one good win, how good was it?
Yeah, exactly. And have a rematch with Teo. If he has a rematch with Teo, I can live with that. That would be a good fight right now because I think Teo is going to show up for real. He don't have the issues outside of the ring now. He could get in there and do what he's supposed to have done the first time. He was supposed to be the first one to knock him out, but it ended up being Loma, the guy who does knock guys out, but you don't look at him as a knockout puncher. You just look at him as being just a freaking savant inside the ring when he's at his best, and even as an older guy now. But now we can put a lid on that. The Sports Bag Bros podcast will be back on Thursday. There should be some more basketball behind us by then. And there should
We're going to have a special show on Wednesday. Don't forget.
Oh, yeah. Special show on Wednesday. You explain real quick.
Just going to have a show with our man Bosco from the Bronx. He's going to join me on Wednesday. I don't know how long the show is going to go, but he's a DJ. So we're going to chop it up talking sports, NBA, whatever else is going on. We'll wrap up. No, we won't be live. We'll match up. We'll wrap up Monday and Tuesday, and then I'm gonna let him take us out on the ones and twos. Like I say, he's a DJ. I'm gonna tell him, bring it, man. Don't come soft. You gotta slice it, rip it, cut it up, do whatever you gotta do, but don't disappoint. Yep.
All right. He's Bias. I'm Trav. He'll be seeing you again on Wednesday. I'll be seeing you with Bias on Thursday, talking a little bit more about this fight as it gets closer and probably trying to figure out what the hell happened with his headbutt and anything else that might have happened from that fines, whatever, et cetera, et cetera. But
Man, how
until
do you
then,
headbutt somebody and you're the one that gets injured?
when you're Jimmy Superfly Snooker, you bleed from the forehead like the wrestlers used to do. But until then, deuces.
Out.